What secrets did medieval convents really hold? What astonishing artifacts were hidden away for centuries within their quiet walls? What if the true history of these places was far stranger than you ever imagined, especially during the years from 1000 to 1500? Number 11. The Solitary Spool. In the year 1987, during the extensive archaeological excavation of the former convent of St. Agnes in the remote plains of Burgundy, France, a discovery was made that continues to puzzle historians and textile experts alike. Tucked away in a small, unadorned wooden box, buried beneath the flagstones of what was once the convent's main scriptorium, lay an object of unassuming appearance, yet profound mystery: the Solitary Spool. This Baked, now catalogued as SA 1987 TXL3 at the Museum of Medieval History in Dijon, is a small, heavy wooden spool measuring approximately 5 centimeters in length and 3 in diameter. Its surface is unusually smooth, almost polished to a soft gleam, suggesting centuries of handling or perhaps an extraordinary finishing process. What truly sets the Solitary Spool apart is the single, unbroken thread wound tightly around its core. This thread, incredibly fine and delicate, possesses an almost ethereal quality. It shimmers with a faint iridescent sheen, catching the light in a way that suggests colors not quite from the usual spectrum of natural dyes known to medieval Europe. Textile analysis conducted by Dr. Eleanor Vance of the University of Lyon in 1992 detailed in her seminal work, Unraveling the Miffy-Peel Thread: Anomalies in European Textile Production, confirmed the thread's anomalous composition. It is identified as a form of silk, but unlike any known species of Bombyx mori, the common silkworm, protein structure shows distinct variances, leading some researchers to hypothesize an unknown source, perhaps a variant of silkworm not native to Europe or Asia, or even a different type of biological fiber altogether. The spool itself is made of a dark, dense wood identified by dendrochronology as bog oak, a material prized for its hardness and durability, often used for items meant to last generations. Craftsmanship is simple yet precise, with no decorative carvings or inscriptions that might hint at its origin or purpose. Was not found in a workshop or a storage area for textiles, but rather in a location associated with scholarly pursuits, the scriptorium, which further deepens the mystery. Why would such a unique textile Becket be hidden in a place of study? Historical records of the convent of St. Agnes, preserved in the departmental archives of Saône-et-Loire, offer little direct information about specific weaving activities beyond the production of coarse wool for habits and simple linens. There is no mention of silk production, an incredibly rare and valuable commodity in medieval Burgundy, usually imported from the East. This absence from the official records has led to much speculation. Was this thread a secret project? Was it brought to the convent by a nun with an extraordinary past or a rare skill? Or did it serve a purpose entirely beyond textile creation? Perhaps a symbolic or even a mystical one. Dr. Vance, in her 1998 follow-up paper, The Silent Loom. Speculations on isolated textile production in Misibel monasteries proposed that the thread might have been part of a highly personal devotional act, perhaps a continuous prayer or penance. The sheer length and unbroken nature of the thread, even after centuries, speak to a level of dedication and meticulous care that goes beyond ordinary craft. The smooth, worn surface of the spool itself suggests constant handling, perhaps by a single individual, patiently winding and unwinding, or simply holding it close. The Solitary Spool remains an enigma, a tangible link to a hidden life within the convent walls during the mid-15th century. It offers no easy answers, only a persistent whisper of unknown endeavors, of a solitary pursuit that transcended the everyday routines of monastic life, leaving behind a material trace that defies common understanding. Its discovery challenges our assumptions about the self-sufficiency and creative output of medieval religious communities, hinting at secret skills and unexpected imports or inventions that existed outside the official narratives of the period. Number 10. The Lamenting Lyre Fragment. In the summer of 1972, during a meticulous conservation project at the ruins of the Abbey of St. Hildegard in the Rhineland, Germany, a team of restorers stumbled upon a remarkable piece of medieval craftsmanship. While carefully clearing debris from a long collapsed section of what was once the nuns' private chambers, they unearthed a small, intricately carved wooden fragment, unlike anything else found on the site. This Beckett, now designated SH 1972 MUS-1 and housed at the German Neckel's National Museum in Nuremberg, is a section of what appears to be the arm of a small lyre or harp, dating back to the early 13th century. The fragment, measuring approximately 10 centimeters in length, is crafted from a dark resonant wood, identified as yew. Its surface is adorned with exquisite minute carvings, intertwining vines, small stylized birds, and a delicate depiction of what seems to be a weeping figure, its head bowed in sorrow. The level of detail and the artistry involved are exceptional, far exceeding the typical decorative elements found on utilitarian objects of the period. Inlaid into the wood are tiny slivers of mother-of-pearl, and what forensic analysis in 1975 by Dr. Klaus Richter of the Max Planck Institute for the Science of Human History confirmed as fossilized amber, creating a subtle shimmering contrast against the dark wood. This report, published in Archaeological Discoveries in the Rhineland, a quarterly journal, highlighted the unusual nature of the materials and the sophistication of the inlay technique. The Abbey of St. Hildegard was known for its intellectual and spiritual pursuits, with a rich tradition of manuscript illumination and theological study. However, official records and extant inventories from the abbey, such as those found in the Koblenz State Archives, rarely mention musical instruments beyond the organ used for liturgical services. The discovery of such a finely crafted personal instrument, especially one with such evocative melancholic imagery, raises fascinating questions about the personal lives and artistic expressions of the nun. Did a particular nun possess an extraordinary skill in instrument making or playing? Was this lyre used for private devotion, personal solace, or even forbidden secular melodies? The presence of the weeping figure carving is particularly intriguing. It is not a typical religious motif for a personal devotional item. Dr. Annelies Weber, a medieval art historian from the University of Freiburg, noted in her 1980 essay, Echoes of Sorrow, Melancholy in Medieval Convent Art, that such imagery could be interpreted in multiple ways. It might represent the sorrow of the Virgin Mary, a common theme in devotional art, or perhaps it reflects a more personal lamentation, a profound sadness experienced by the instrument's owner. The fact that the fragment was found in a private living space rather than a common area suggests it was a cherished personal possession, perhaps hidden or abandoned in haste. Musical instruments, especially those not used for official church services, were sometimes viewed with suspicion by monastic authorities associated with worldly pleasures or even pagan practices. If this lyre was indeed used for personal expression, it might have been a clandestine activity, a quiet rebellion against the strictures of monastic life. The fragmented nature of the Beckett itself is a reminder of its tumultuous past. It was not merely lost, but seems to have been broken, perhaps deliberately, or shattered during the Abbey's later turbulent history. The Lamenting Lyre Fragment stands as a poignant testament to the human desire for self-expression, even within the confines of a strict religious order. It speaks of a hidden passion for music, of personal sorrows and artistic skill that might have flourished in secret, leaving behind only this eloquent whisper of its former beauty and purpose. Its discovery encourages us to look beyond the formal records and official narratives, to imagine the private worlds and hidden talents that might have existed within these ancient institutions, offering a glimpse into the emotional landscape of a medieval nun. Number 9. The Convent Seal of Disguise. In the year 2005, during routine archaeological monitoring ahead of a new construction project near the site of the former convent of St. Ursula in Wiltshire, England, a significant and perplexing beacon was uncovered. Embedded deeply behind a loose stone in a crumbling section of the convent's outer wall, a location easily overlooked for centuries, lay a large, heavily worn wax seal matrix. This object, now identified as SU 2005 SEC1 and currently held by the British Museum, is crafted from a durable dark gray steatite measuring approximately 7 centimeters in diameter and 3 centimeters thick. Its weight and material suggest it was made to endure, but its condition indicates extensive, repeated use. Makes this seal matrix truly astonishing is not its age dating to the mid-14th century, but the image it bears. Instead of the expected religious iconography, such as a saint's figure, a cross, or the convent's official emblem, the seal depicts a complex and distinctly secular coat of arms. This coat of arms features a rampant lion, a shield bearing 3 fleurs-de-lis, and a crest with a closed helmet, all elements associated with noble families rather than ecclesiastical institutions. Research by Dr. Geoffrey Thorne of the University of Oxford, documented in his 2008 publication, Hidden Entities, Seals and Secrecy in Medieval England, confirms that the specific heraldry does not match any known officiala, nor does it correspond to the armorial bearings of any of the convent's known benefactors or ruling abbesses. Convent of St. Ursula, established in the late 12th century, maintained detailed administrative records, many of which are preserved in the National Archives at Kew. These documents include numerous examples of the convent's official seals, all consistently displaying its patron saint. The discovery of a powerful secular seal matrix hidden within the convent walls presents a profound historical puzzle. Who possessed this seal? For what purpose was it used, and why was it concealed in such a clandestine manner? The material analysis of wax residue found on the matrix, conducted by the British Museum's Conservation Department in 2007, revealed traces of red sealing wax, a color often associated with royal or noble correspondence, rather than the more common natural or brown waxes used for monastic documents. This further suggests a connection to matters of significant secular importance, potentially even involving covert operations or illicit communications. Dr. Thorne speculates that the seal could have been used to forge documents, to authenticate messages from an unknown secular power, or to facilitate secret exchanges that bypassed the authority of the church or the crown. Placement of the seal matrix tucked away in a loose stone points towards a deliberate act of concealment, perhaps in a moment of urgency or fear. It implies that the owner did not want this object to be found, suggesting its use was sensitive, perhaps even dangerous. Could a nun within the convent have been involved in political intrigue? Was the convent itself being used as a safe house, or a communication hub for a powerful, unidentified secular entity? The exact nature of this disguise remains unknown, but it speaks to a profound layer of hidden activity within the seemingly pious and insular world of the medieval convent. Convent Seal of Disguise challenges the traditional perception of convents as solely religious institutions isolated from the worldly affairs of politics and power. It hints at a hidden, intricate network of influence, perhaps involving powerful families, secret alliances, or even espionage operating under the veil of spiritual devotion. This silent object, found in a place of sacred duty, remains a testament to the complex, often shadowy interactions between the spiritual and secular realms in medieval society, inviting us to reconsider the true extent of a nun's involvement in the world beyond her cloister. Number 8. The Alchemist's Mortar. In 1995, during a systematic archaeological survey of the long-abandoned infirmary wing of the Abbey of Saint Clair in Provence, France, a team from the French National Institute for Preventive Archaeological Research uncovered an object that defied immediate categorization. Buried beneath centuries of collapsed masonry and earth, In what appeared to be a small sealed compartment near the main hearth was a heavy blackened mortar and its accompanying pestle. This PAPIC, now catalogued as SC 1995 INF1 at the Musée National du Moyen Age in Paris, is unlike any standard kitchen or pharmaceutical implement typically found in monastic infirmaries. The mortar is crafted from a dark, dense igneous rock, possibly basalt or granite, its surface incredibly worn and smooth from extensive grinding. It measures approximately 25 centimeters in diameter, with unusually thick walls and a deep, bowl-like interior. The pestle, equally robust, fits perfectly into the mortar's curvature. What immediately struck the archaeologists was the distinctive aroma clinging to the stone, even after centuries, a complex, lingering scent that forensic analysis, conducted by Dr. Laurent Dubois of the Centre National de la Recherche Scientifique in 1997, identified as a blend of soupor, mercury, and various metallic oxides, along with traces of exupper, Comme de Provence. These findings were detailed in Alchemy in the Cloister, Chemical Residues from St. Clair Abbey, published in the Journal of Myth-Eve Archaeology. The Abbey of St. Clair was a renowned Benedictine convent, famous for its extensive herbal gardens and the skill of its nuns in treating the sick. Its historical records, meticulously preserved in the Archives départementales des Bouches-du-Rhône, document numerous herbal remedies and surgical practices. However, there is no mention of alchemical pursuits which, in the late 12th century, when this mortar is dated, were often viewed with suspicion by the Church, sometimes even associated with heresy or the occult. Alchemy, with its blend of proto-chemistry, philosophy, and mysticism, aimed to transmute base metals into gold or to create elixirs of life, concepts often deemed dangerous or heretical. The presence of such a specialized alchemical tool, hidden away in a sealed compartment within the infirmary, suggests a clandestine operation. Who, among the nuns, possessed the forbidden knowledge and skill to practice alchemy? Was it for purely medicinal purposes, attempting to create powerful new remedies, or were they pursuing the more esoteric goals of transmutation? The discovery challenges the common perception of medieval nuns as solely focused on spiritual and traditional medicinal practices. It hints at a hidden intellectual curiosity, a willingness to explore the fringes of scientific knowledge, even if it meant venturing into controversial or forbidden territory. Traces of mercury and sulfur are particularly intriguing. Mercury, a highly toxic substance, was a fundamental component in many alchemical processes, believed to represent the fluid, volatile principle. Sulfur, conversely, represented the fiery, fixed principle. Their combination was central to attempts at material transformation. The exotic botanical compounds suggest either rare ingredients acquired through illicit trade routes or unique herbal preparations developed within the convent itself. Could these nuns have been experimenting with early forms of chemical synthesis, pushing the boundaries of medieval understanding? The alchemist's mortar stands as a silent witness to a hidden pursuit of knowledge, a secret laboratory operating within the sacred walls of a medieval convent. It forces us to reconsider the intellectual freedom and scientific exploration that might have been quietly flourishing in such unexpected places, far removed from the watchful eyes of ecclesiastical authority. This Beckett speaks of a time when the lines between medicine, mysticism, and science were blurred, and some courageous or desperate individuals sought answers through forbidden means, leaving behind this tangible evidence of their daring experiments. Number 7. The Thorned Rosary. In the year 1968, during a major structural repair project in the crypt beneath the former convent of St. Felicity in Umbria, Italy, an astonishing and unsettling discovery was made. Behind a false wall, in a small, previously unknown niche, archaeologists uncovered a lead sarcophagus, unadorned and lacking any identifying inscriptions. Within it, laid carefully as if in repose, was a mummified human hand, remarkably preserved by the dry, stable conditions of the crypt. Wrapped tightly around the desiccated fingers of this hand was an object that has since captivated and disturbed researchers, the Thorned Rosary. This papid, now designated SF 1968 DEV1 and housed at the National Archaeological Museum of Umbria, is a rosary unlike any other known from the medieval period. Dating to the late 12th century, the rosary is composed of approximately 150 beads, each meticulously carved from human bone. The beads are surprisingly uniform in size and shape, testament to an extraordinary, painstaking effort. What makes them unique, however, are the tiny, incredibly sharp thorns carved onto the surface of each bead. These thorns, barely 2 millimeters in length, are acutely pointed, designed to prick the skin of anyone using the rosary in prayer. Microscopic analysis, performed by Dr. Benedetta Rossi of the University of Padua in 1970, and detailed in Ritual and Mortification, an analysis of anomalous devotional objects, confirmed that the bone was human, though its exact origin could not be definitively traced. Thorns appear to be an integral part of the bone material itself, skillfully worked rather than added on. The Convent of St. Felicity was a cloistered Franciscan institution known for its strict adherence to vows of poverty and asceticism. Its spiritual practices often involved forms of physical penance, but usually through self-flagellation with whips or wearing hair shirts. The Thorned Rosary suggests a much more intimate, continuous form of physical suffering during prayer. Why would a nun choose such a device? The discovery of the rosary wrapped around a mummified hand implies it belonged to the individual whose remains were found, suggesting a deep personal commitment to this extreme form of devotion. The hand itself shows no signs of severe trauma from the thorns, indicating that the pricking was likely minor, a constant subtle reminder of pain and sacrifice rather than a grievous injury. Practice of using human bone in religious artifacts, while not entirely unheard of in relic veneration, is extremely rare for personal devotional items like a rosary. The ethical implications of using human remains in this manner, even in a medieval context, are profound. Was the bone sourced from a deceased relative, a revered saint, or perhaps even from the nun herself, a macabre memento mori? The identity of the hand remains unknown, shrouded in the silence of centuries. The location of the discovery, a hidden niche within a crypt, hints at a desire for secrecy, perhaps recognizing the extreme nature of this personal penance. Dr. Rossi further posited that the Thorned Rosary could represent an ultimate act of imitatio Christi, the imitation of Christ's suffering, particularly through the Passion. The thorns could symbolize Christ's crown of thorns, a constant reminder of his pain and sacrifice, internalized by the worshiper. The continuous, subtle pricking might have served to keep the mind focused on prayer, preventing wandering thoughts, or to continually offer a small sacrifice with every bead counted. The Thorned Rosary is a powerful and unsettling bapig that offers a stark glimpse into the intensity of medieval religious devotion and the lengths to which individuals would go in pursuit of spiritual purity and union with the divine. Challenges modern sensibilities about pain and piety, standing as a silent, tangible testament to a fervent personal faith that blurred the lines between suffering and sanctity within the hidden world of a medieval convent. It forces us to confront the extreme forms of personal sacrifice that were sometimes undertaken, leaving behind a chilling yet deeply moving testament to an intense interior life. Number 6. The Pilgrim's Compass. In 1982, during the systematic archaeological survey of the Convent of St. Bridget in Flanders, Belgium, a discovery was made within a sealed compartment of a nun's personal chest, hidden in a forgotten storeroom. Among a few mundane personal effects, wrapped in a piece of faded linen, lay an object that immediately stood out, a small, exquisitely crafted compass. This baby, now catalogued as SB 1982 NAV1 at the Royal Museums of Art and History in Brussels, is a testament to an unexpected journey. Dating to the mid-14th century, the compass measures approximately 5 centimeters in diameter. It is enclosed in a casing of polished brass, intricately engraved with constellations and what appear to be faint worn symbols that do not match standard European astrological or navigational markings. Compass needle, remarkably still free-moving after centuries, points true north, a testament to its exceptional craftsmanship. What makes this compass truly astonishing is its design. Unlike typical European navigational instruments of the period, which were often simpler and less decorative, this compass incorporates elements found in Middle Eastern and East Asian designs, particularly in the delicate pivot mechanism. Analysis by Professor Dr. Hendrik van der Waal of the University of Leiden in 1985 detailed in his work, Navigating the Unknown. Pre-Renaissance journeys and their instruments noted striking similarities to compasses from the Silk Road region, suggesting a possible origin far beyond European borders. Convent of St. Bridget was a small, relatively obscure Augustinian institution, known primarily for its production of illuminated manuscripts. Its historical records, available in the state archives in Bruges, offer no indication of any nun engaging in extensive travel beyond the Low Countries, but lone journeys to distant lands. Pilgrimages were common, but typically to Rome, Compostela, or the Holy Land journeys that did not necessitate such a uniquely designed navigational tool. Presence of such an Becket, particularly one hidden within a personal chest, challenges the image of a cloistered nun living a life entirely within the convent walls. Who was the nun who owned this compass? How did she acquire it? Did she travel extensively before entering the convent? Or did she perhaps embark on a secret pilgrimage or mission that took her to parts of the world rarely visited by Europeans of her time, let alone by a woman? Compass offers no direct answers, only tantalizing questions. The fact that it was hidden suggests a desire for discretion, perhaps a reluctance to reveal a past life or a secret undertaking. Could it have been a memento of a previous life, a symbol of a journey completed, or perhaps even a tool for a journey still contemplated in secret? Professor van der Waal further speculated that the compass might have belonged to a nun who served as a royal emissary or an agent for a powerful noble family before taking her vows, carrying out clandestine missions that required extensive travel. Convent in this scenario might have served as a safe haven, a place to retire from a dangerous past, but the compass remained a cherished, secret reminder of that life. The brass casing, though polished, shows signs of extensive handling and exposure to the elements, consistent with a tool used in active navigation rather than a mere decorative object. Pilgrim's Compass is a compelling Becket that shatters preconceptions about the restricted lives of medieval nuns. It hints at a hidden narrative of adventure, of journeys to distant lands, and of lives lived beyond the confines of the cloister walls. This small, silent instrument, with its intricate foreign design, speaks of courage, curiosity, and an unwritten history, leaving us to wonder about the extraordinary experiences of the individual who once held it, guiding her way through unknown territories, both geographical and personal. It suggests that some nuns may have been far more worldly and adventurous than historical records typically portray. Number 5. The Orphan's Locket. In 2010, during an archaeological excavation of the long-collapsed orphanage wing of the Convent of the Sacred Heart in Tuscany, Italy, a team from the University of Florence made a poignant discovery. Buried just beneath the hardened earth of what was once the dormitory floorboards, a small, simple lead locket was uncovered. This baped, now catalogued as SH 2010 LOC1 and currently displayed at the Museo di San Marco in Florence, is a silent testament to a child's hidden sorrow and a secret story. Dating to the late 12th century, the locket is unadorned, made of plain tarnished lead, roughly circular in shape, measuring about 3 centimeters in diameter. Plain exterior offers no hint of its potential significance. However, when carefully cleaned and opened by conservators in 2011, faint traces of an engraved image became visible on its inner surface. Through advanced imaging techniques, Dr. Isabella Romano, a medieval art historian from the University of Siena, confirmed in her 2013 article Echoes of Childhood, Material Culture in Medieval Orphanages, that the engraving to small child, their faces indistinct but their poses suggesting an embrace. The image is too worn to discern precise features, but its very presence, hidden from immediate view, speaks volumes. Convent of the Sacred Heart operated a well-regarded orphanage, taking in abandoned or destitute children from the surrounding region. Cords, preserved in the State Archives of Florence, provide detailed lists of the children cared for, their dates of entry, and sometimes brief notes on their origins or eventual placements. However, these records are official and impersonal. The discovery of the locket challenges this impersonal narrative, offering a deeply personal glimpse into the emotional lives of the children within the convent's care. The locket's material lead suggests it belonged to someone of very modest means, a child of poverty. Its small size indicates it was likely a personal cherished possession, easily concealed. The fact that it was buried beneath the floorboards, a common hiding place for valuable or sentimental items in medieval dwellings, implies a desire to keep it safe and secret, perhaps from other children, or even from the watchful eyes of the nuns. It suggests a child who carried a profound memory, a tangible link to a past or a family she might never see again. Dr. Romano theorized that the locket belonged to an orphan who was brought to the convent at a very young age, perhaps too young to fully remember her biological mother, but who clung to this last physical remnant of her. The act of burying it could have been a desperate attempt to preserve this memory, or perhaps a moment of grief abandoning it in a place of supposed permanence when hope for reunion faded. The locket becomes a symbol of the profound emotional impact of separation and abandonment on a child in medieval times, a silent plea for connection in a world that often lacked sentimentality in its formal records. The orphan's locket is a stark and moving reminder that beneath the institutional records and architectural ruins of medieval convents lay deeply personal human stories, especially those of the most vulnerable. It forces us to acknowledge the hidden emotional landscapes, the quiet sorrows, and the enduring human need for connection and memory, even in the most austere of environments. This simple tarnished piece of lead offers a rare and intimate glimpse into the inner world of a child, revealing the quiet resilience and longing that existed within the walls of a medieval convent orphanage, a world often overlooked by grand historical narratives. Number 4. The Scribe's Spectacles. In the year 1999, during the painstaking restoration of a ruined section of the scriptorium at the Convent of St. Catherine in Bavaria, Germany, a remarkable discovery was made. Amidst the rubble and fragments of parchment, neatly tucked into a small carved wooden box that had somehow survived the centuries, lay a pair of remarkably well-preserved reading spectacles. This baby, now catalogued as SC 1999 SCI1 at the Bavarian National Museum in Munich, represents a rare and intimate glimpse into the intellectual life of a medieval nun. Dating to the early 14th century, the spectacles are a sophisticated example of early optical technology. The frames are crafted from polished bone, possibly bovine, intricately shaped and smoothly finished. The lenses, surprisingly intact, are made from highly polished rock crystal, a much rarer and more expensive material than glass, suggesting a significant investment in their creation. Analysis by Dr. Heinrich Bauer, a medieval technology expert from the Technical University of Munich, in his 2002 paper, Seeing Clearly, Early Optics in Monastic Setting, confirmed the excellent optical quality of the lenses, indicating a high level of skill in their grinding and polishing. The spectacles are of a rivet spectacle type, designed to be held up to the face or perched on the nose, a common form, before the invention of earpieces. Convent of St. Catherine was renowned for its scriptorium, a center of intellectual activity where nuns diligently copied, illuminated, and sometimes composed manuscripts. Its inventories, preserved in the Bavarian State Library, list numerous books, writing implements, and even some medical texts. However, there is no direct mention of spectacles or optical aids, which were still relatively new inventions in Europe at this time, having only appeared in Italy in the late 13th century. The discovery of these spectacles, alongside an unfinished manuscript, a devotional text with incredibly fine script, hints at the daily struggles and dedication of the scribes. The existence of such a finely crafted optical aid suggests that at least one nun within the convent experienced significant vision problems, yet continued to pursue her demanding scholarly work. It paints a vivid picture of a dedicated scribe, perhaps laboring long hours in dim light, reliant on this precious tool to continue her sacred task of copying and preserving knowledge. The use of expensive rock crystal for the lenses further implies that the nun, or the convent, was willing to invest substantially to support her intellectual contributions. Was this a gift from a wealthy patron, or did the nun herself come from a noble background, bringing this valuable item with her? Dr. Bauer's research estimated the prescriptive power of the lenses, suggesting they were intended for hyperopia or farsightedness, a common age-related condition that would have severely impacted a scribe's ability to read and write fine script. Presence of these spectacles brings a human dimension to the often anonymous figures of medieval scribes, revealing their personal challenges and their ingenuity in overcoming physical limitations. It highlights the importance placed on literacy and scholarship within certain monastic orders, even when faced with significant practical difficulties. The scribes' spectacles stand as a silent testament to the intellectual rigor and personal dedication that flourished within medieval convents. They remind us that these institutions were not only places of spiritual devotion but also centers of learning, where individuals pursued knowledge with remarkable tenacity. This humble yet sophisticated bucket offers a rare and intimate connection to a real person from the past. A nun whose struggle with diminishing eyesight did not deter her from her sacred vocation, leaving behind a tangible symbol of her perseverance and the quiet dignity of her scholarly life. Number 3. The Whispering Psalter. In 1990, during the meticulous cataloging of ancient texts held in the private archives of the Convent of Our Lady of Sorrows in Castile, Spain, a discovery was made that continues to baffle paleographers and linguists. Tucked away within a forgotten wooden chest, wrapped in layers of silk cloth, was a small, exquisitely illuminated psalter. This Bapade, now designated Ol Els 1990 Memayen and preserved at the National Library of Spain in Madrid, appears at first glance to be a beautiful but conventional devotional book. However, its true mystery lies within its margin, dating to the early 13th century. The Whispering Psalter is a masterpiece of medieval illumination, its pages filled with vibrant colors and intricate gold leaf, depicting scenes from the life of Christ and various saints. The Latin script is flawless, characteristic of high-quality monastic production. However, it is the marginalia that distinguishes this psalter. Beyond the typical small drawings or annotations of a scribe correcting errors, there are numerous tiny, meticulously inscribed symbols and sequences of seemingly random letters. These editions are not in Latin and appear to be written in a distinct, almost microscopic hand, subtly integrated into the decorative borders, easily overlooked by a casual observer. Initial analysis by Dr. Sofia Herrera, a specialist in medieval manuscripts at the University of Salamanca, documented in her 1993 study Decoding the Margins, Anomalous Inscriptions and Castilian Psalters, quickly established that these markings constituted a complex non-standard script or code. The sequences of letters do not form intelligible words in any known medieval language, and the symbols do not correspond to known alchemical, astrological, or religious ciphers. The The sheer volume of these annotations, spread across dozens of pages, suggests a deliberate and sustained effort. Convent of Our Lady of Sorrows was known for its strict Benedictine rule and its emphasis on spiritual contemplation. Extant records, found in the Archivo Histórico Nacional, offer no mention of unusual intellectual pursuits or any known instances of coded communication. What was the purpose of these whispers in the margins? Were they secret messages? Or perhaps a system of mnemonic devices for prayer or memory, comprehensible only to the person who devised them? Dr. Herrera hypothesized that the code might be a form of nomenclatura, a personal cipher system, potentially used to record thoughts, observations, or even forbidden knowledge that the nun could not openly express. The meticulous nature of the script suggests a high level of literacy and intellectual sophistication on the part of the scribe, challenging the stereotype of medieval nuns as simply passive recipients of spiritual instruction. Further examination in 2005, using multispectral imaging, revealed that some of the coded annotations were written with a different, slightly less permanent ink than the main text, suggesting they might have been added later, perhaps by a different hand, or at a different time by the same individual. This raised the possibility of a dialogue, or a series of entries made over a period of time. The content of these hidden messages, if they are messages, remains undeciphered, a tantalizing secret locked away in symbols. The very act of hiding such extensive annotations in a sacred text implies a profound need for secrecy, perhaps fearing discovery by the convent authorities or the Inquisition. The Whispering Psalter is a compelling reminder of the hidden intellectual lives and secret communications that might have flourished within the cloistered world of medieval convents. It speaks of individuals who found ingenious ways to express themselves, to record their thoughts, or to communicate outside the accepted norms, leaving behind this beautiful yet cryptic testament to their ingenuity and their desire for personal expression in a world that often demanded conformity. It forces us to wonder about the hidden narratives and untold stories that lie beneath the surface of seemingly conventional artifacts. Number 2. The Weaver's Secret Shuttle. In 2001, during a detailed study of the textile workshop remnants at the former convent of St. Clare in Yorkshire, England, archaeologists made an unexpected find. Tucked into a cleverly concealed compartment within the frame of a large, well-preserved medieval loom, a section of which had survived the centuries, was a single, highly unusual shuttle. Dispaped, now catalogued as SC2001TEX1 and on display at the Yorkshire Museum in York, immediately drew attention for its distinctive features and hidden symbolism. Dating to the early 13th century, the shuttle is crafted from a single piece of highly polished dark bog oak, a wood known for its durability and distinctive, almost black hue. It measures approximately 30 centimeters in length, its form sleek and ergonomic, designed for efficient use. What sets this shuttle apart are the intricate, minute carvings etched into its surface. These are not Christian symbols or typical decorative patterns found on medieval tools. Instead, they appear to be a series of pre-Christian or pagan symbols: intertwined serpents, stylized horned figures, sun wheels, and ancient runic-like markings that do not correspond to known Germanic or Norse runic alphabets. Analysis by Dr. Miriam Finch, a specialist in early medieval iconography at the University of Cambridge, in her 2004 paper Silent Heresies, Unorthodox Symbolism in Monastic Craft, confirmed the resemblance to pre-Christian Celtic and Anglo-Saxon motifs. The Convent of St. Clare was a Cistercian institution known for its austere lifestyle and its productive workshops, including weaving. Its surviving inventories held in the Borthwick Institute for Archives in York list numerous looms and textile tools, but no mention of any objects bearing non-Christian symbols. The discovery of such a shuttle hidden within the very heart of the convent's industrious activity raises profound questions about the beliefs and practices of its inhabitants. Who possessed the shuttle, and what was the meaning behind its forbidden carvings? The fact that the shuttle was meticulously hidden suggests a deliberate act of concealment, likely to avoid detection by convent authorities who would have viewed such pagan symbolism as heretical or dangerous. This implies that the owner, a nun, held beliefs that diverged significantly from the official doctrines of the Church, or that she was connected to a secret lineage of knowledge that predated Christianity in England. Carvings are too intricate and deliberate to be mere whimsy. They suggest a deep understanding and perhaps a personal devotion to these ancient symbols. Dr. Finch posited that the shuttle might have belonged to a nun who came from a rural background where older pre-Christian traditions still held sway, perhaps clinging to these beliefs even after entering the convent. Or, she speculated, it could have been part of a clandestine group within the convent, secretly preserving ancient wisdom or practicing a form of syncretic spirituality that blended Christian piety with older indigenous traditions. The loom itself, a tool of creation and transformation, might have been seen as a fitting place for such hidden symbolism, intertwining the threads of old and new beliefs. The smooth, worn surface of the shuttle indicates extensive use, suggesting it was a favored tool, perhaps used in the production of special textiles, woven with unspoken intentions or imbued with symbolic meaning. The weaver's secret shuttle is a powerful and provocative backend that challenges our understanding of religious conformity within medieval convents. It suggests a hidden world of diverse beliefs, where ancient traditions persisted in secret, often under the very nose of established ecclesiastical authority. This silent wooden tool, with its etched mysteries, reminds us that the spiritual landscape of the Middle Ages was far more complex and nuanced than often portrayed, revealing a tantalizing glimpse into the quiet acts of spiritual resistance and the preservation of forbidden knowledge within the sacred walls of a convent. Number 1. The Thorned Rosary. In the year 1968, during a major structural repair project in the crypt beneath the former convent of St. Felicity in Umbria, Italy, an astonishing and unsettling discovery was made. Behind a false wall, in a small, previously unknown niche, archaeologists uncovered a lead sarcophagus, unadorned and lacking any identifying inscriptions. Within it, laid carefully, as if in repose, was a mummified human hand, remarkably preserved by the dry, stable conditions of the crypt. Wrapped tightly around the desiccated fingers of this hand was an object that has since captivated and disturbed researchers: the Thorned Rosary. This backend, now designated SF 1968 DV1 and housed at the National Archaeological Museum of Umbria, is a rosary unlike any other known from the medieval period, dating to the late 12th century. The rosary is composed of approximately 150 beads, each meticulously carved from human bone. The beads are surprisingly uniform in size and shape, testament to an extraordinary, painstaking effort. What makes them unique, however, are the tiny, incredibly sharp thorns carved onto the surface of each bead. These thorns, barely 2 millimeters in length, are acutely pointed, designed to prick the skin of anyone using the rosary in prayer. Microscopic analysis performed by Dr. Benedetta Rossi of the University of Padua in 1970, and detailed in Ritual and Mortification, an analysis of anomalous devotional objects, confirmed that the bone was human, though its exact origin could not be definitively traced. The thorns appear to be an integral part of the bone material itself, skillfully worked rather than added on. Convent of St. Felicity was a cloistered Franciscan institution known for its strict adherence to vows of poverty and asceticism. Its spiritual practices often involved forms of physical penance, but usually through self-flagellation with whips or wearing hair shirts. The Thorned Rosary suggests a much more intimate, continuous form of physical suffering during prayer. Why would a nun choose such a device? The discovery of the rosary wrapped around a mummified hand implies it belonged to the individual whose remains were found, suggesting a deep personal commitment to this extreme form of devotion. The hand itself shows no signs of severe trauma from the thorns, indicating that the pricking was likely minor, a constant, subtle reminder of pain and sacrifice rather than a grievous injury. Practice of using human bone in religious artifacts, while not entirely unheard of in relic veneration, is extremely rare for personal devotional items like a rosary. The ethical implications of using human remains in this manner, even in a medieval context, are profound. Was the bone sourced from a deceased relative, a revered saint, or perhaps even from the nun herself? A macabre memento mori. The identity of the hand remains unknown, shrouded in the silence of centuries. The location of the discovery, a hidden niche within a crypt, hints at a desire for secrecy, perhaps recognizing the extreme nature of this personal penance. Dr. Rossi further posited that the thorned rosary could represent an ultimate act of imitatio Christi, the imitation of Christ's suffering, particularly through the Passion. The thorns could symbolize Christ's crown of thorns, a constant reminder of his pain and sacrifice internalized by the worshipper. The continuous, subtle pricking might have served to keep the mind focused on prayer, preventing wandering thoughts, or to continually offer a small sacrifice with every bead counted. The thorned rosary is a powerful and unsettling baggage that offers a stark glimpse into the intensity of medieval religious devotion and the lengths to which individuals would go in pursuit of spiritual purity and union with the divine. Challenges modern sensibilities about pain and piety, standing as a silent, tangible testament to a fervent personal faith that blurred the lines between suffering and sanctity within the hidden world of a medieval convent. It forces us to confront the extreme forms of personal sacrifice that were sometimes undertaken, leaving behind a chilling yet deeply moving testament to an intense interior life.